In 1977, became Children's Program Coordinator in May of 78. In July of 87, named Director of Children and Adolescent Services. During his years there, he was instrumental in developing programs such as therapeutic foster care, home-based services, and Dakota House, a residential program for troubled youth. Whereas Dr. Hedges also worked with the local school district to develop programming such as self-contained classrooms for youth struggling with emotional and behavioral problems, and also worked with the state to assure funding of the programs were always available for the youth and their families. Dr. Hedges conducted thousands of psychological evaluations for youth in the Aberdeen area, and he left Northeast Mental Health in August of 2003 to become full-time member of the Aberdeen School District, where he continued working and treating our community's youth. Dr. Hedges also joined the staff of Lutheran Social Services and completed psychological evaluations for the youth at New Beginnings Center, and also served as advisor and board member for many organizations such as Aspire and New Beginnings, taught Sunday school, was an active church community member, and whereas perhaps his biggest role has been that as a mentor and advisor in college to numerous professionals who are working now in the field in Aberdeen, we will declare today as Dr. Mark Hedges Day in Aberdeen today, and that's a rather lengthy proclamation. As I said at the special event we had for Dr. Hedges, the reason it's lengthy is because he's done a heck of a lot. And Mark, for me personally, I had planned basically to skip this last week's meeting, but my wife couldn't be here, and she spoke so highly of you during her time as an educator and the work that you do that I was not going to miss this opportunity to read the proclamation for you here. And for those in the city who are not aware of your influence on the youth and the parents in this community, we can't say enough, and thank you for all you've done. So Lisa, are you going to make him keep working?
He's going to volunteer in the community, as all do when they retire, so we are glad that he's going to be sticking around.
Yeah, she was presenting some ideas already.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm told there's no one signed up for our open forum tonight, so we will move on to old business, and that is item A possible second reading and final adoption of ordinance 190504 that was approved without objection last week, and I would entertain a motion for final approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion Bunceness and second by Rux. Questions or comments from the council? Any member of the public that's here that feels compelled to speak about this? If not, Jordan, roll call for final adoption, please.
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our consent calendar, routine city business, items A through F.
Move to approve.
Motion Remley, second by Slade Hansen. Questions on any? If not, all in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under new business tonight, we're presented with two rezoning ordinances for possible first reading, and the first is 190601. Brett.
This is at 1019 First Avenue Southeast. The property is currently zoned municipal, state, county use. They're requesting to rezone it to unrestricted industrial. The county currently owns the property. They're looking to sell it, and once they sell it, the property can no longer be used for municipal. Thus, they're requesting to rezone it to industrial. Staff and Planning Commission recommend approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion Rux and second by Johnson. Questions or comments from the council? Jordan, roll call first reading, please.
Councilmember Rux.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. 190602. Brett.
This property is located at 1411 and 413 3rd Street South. It's owned by Homes Are Possible. They're requesting to rezone the property in order to utilize it for residential development. Staff and Planning Commission recommend approval.
Moved. Second.
Motion Johnson and second by Lunsman. Questions on this one? Anyone? Jordan, roll call for first reading, please.
Councilmember Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Abstain.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Slight Hansen,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries with one abstention. Next item is ordinance 190603, an airport property lease. Our city attorney has excused absence tonight, so our airport manager will pretend he's a lawyer and handle the description of this lease.
The description of the lease is a 10,000 square foot section of airport land. We propose to sign that lease with Ag Tegra until December 31st, 2023.
Move approval. Second.
Motion Bunceness, second by Johnson. Anything new with this, Rich? Anything unusual or different
No, there's
about
nothing
this?
unusual. It's just, this one took a little bit of time because there was some language that needed to be massaged into it.
Question from the council? If not, all those in favor of, well, we need we need a roll call vote. It has to be an ordinance. Jordan?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Slight Hansen.
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Item D, this is the appointed time for a public hearing on final approval of the sale of the old federal building. And we would entertain a motion after we get an explanation from our city manager, where he will talk about the sale of the property to Kiefer Enterprises for a price of $850,000. I will have Lynn give a brief description, and since this is a public hearing, it would be the opportunity for anybody in the public to comment. And once we get past that, we'd entertain a motion. Lynn?
Okay, thank you. In the middle of year 2018, I was tasked to sell the old library as well as the old federal courthouse building. And as you know, we sold the library 6 months ago, and now I believe the building is gone. This was the last part of my task as far as selling surplus property. We purchased this property back in 2015, if I remember right. We closed on it. And the thought process was to make certain that we would keep the federal court system here. The new purchaser of the property is also interested in keeping the federal court system here. As the mayor had indicated, the purchase price is $850,000. Actually, we purchased the building for $525,000, but when you look at the upgrades that were necessary to meet GSA requirements, our total investment is equivalent to what is being offered for as a purchase price. And so we're recommending that you approve the sale to Kiefer Enterprises in the amount of $850,000.
Move approval.
Before we do that,
Whoa,
I would entertain any questions or comments. This is the appointed time public hearing. Anybody from the public here to speak against this? If not, then Clint, you made a motion? Second by Bunceness.
Yes.
Questions or comments from the council on the sale of the property?
Let it rip.
If not, all those in favor of approving this as described by Lynn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The end of a long trail.
Job, Lynn.
We were
Yes, thank you.
We were not all 100% confident of this when we felt we were in a position to not do anything else at the time, and it's worked out about as well as we could have hoped to this point. Next item on the agenda is item E. This is the appointed time for a hearing on the transfer of a liquor license, a malt beverage and South Dakota farm license with video lottery from Viente Incorporated, Black Diamond Casino at 126th Avenue Southwest, changing this to 1202 8th Avenue Northeast, Suite 2. Anyone here from the public to speak in opposition to this? If not, would entertain a motion from the council.
Moved.
Motion Ronayne, second by Remley. Questions or comments? All in favor of approving that transfer, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. This is also the appointed time for a hearing on one-day retail licenses for the Chamber of Commerce events after business after hours, July 11, August 8, September 12, October 10, November 14. Need a motion for the council.
Second.
Motion Olson and second by Remley. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Same thing for item G, the Shriners event from August 1st to August the 3rd. They would like a community event permit for their Big Midwest Shrine Convention.
Moved. Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Rux. Questions on this? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item H, the submission of the city council proposals for the, what's become known as the promotion fund, the third penny fund, and I will turn it over to Lynn.
Well, basically, we ask that the council stay within the appropriation amount of $1,213,000. And I want to thank the council for staying within that budget limitation amount. As stated, this is just a preliminary. The final won't be approved, and this document will be part of the total budget document, and the total budget document, the first reading for that document doesn't take place until September 3rd, and the second reading would be September 16th. And so, however, as part of the promotion process, we wanted to release the preliminary numbers before we got into final budget.
Well, the agenda here calls for possible approval of this, which is almost an inconsequential event, considering that it comes up for a vote
Right.
in the budget anyway, but you do want to vote on this tonight?
Well, I wanted a preliminary approval so I could put it within the budget proposal
All right.
for consideration in September, which
Okay.
then it can be modified at any time that the council should choose. But I needed some numbers to work with.
Okay,
Move
well,
to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Ronayne with the motion and Rux with the second to approve the numbers as you have before you. Questions or comments from the council?
Question regarding the ordinance that we passed this past year regarding 100% sales tax rebate. If you recall, the second 50% of that rebate is coming from the third penny. And I don't see anything in here except maybe my own allocation of some money to that. But I would remind the council that we have that obligation. Now, there is $18,000 of unexpended balance that could go towards that. So I would recommend that. Do we need to have an amendment to move that? I would make that amendment.
And I'd second that.
What's the language of your amendment?
The language is to take the $18,000 that is under the unexpended line item and move it to which would be called Aberdeen Development Corp. Sales tax rebate. It wouldn't be released to them. It would be in our savings account to apply to any rebate that comes our way.
Questions or comments on that motion to amend?
I just put mine in unexpended balance because I didn't know we can make our own our own line items.
Jordan, do you have the language of that so you can restate it to us so we can vote?
So the amendment is to move $18,000 to the Aberdeen Development Corporation Sales Tax Rebate Program.
Does that say what you said?
That's close enough.
Any more questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of amending this chart to reflect that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Anything else from anyone? And again, we'll remind everybody here that's here that has thoughts about this. This comes up again in September. A lot can change between now and then, and it is nowhere near final.
Lynn, when are you going to be presenting the budget?
August 1st.
August 1st?
That's
First
why I
Monday in
needed
August.
these preliminary numbers so I could put it within my presentation for August 1st.
Okay.
Or is that July 31st? Let me check here. Actually, it's
July 5th or
July-
August 5th?
July
August-
29th. I have to have it done by August 1st.
July 29th. So that'll be
July
read
29th.
at this meeting, or will it be as part of a work session prior to the meeting?
That's the night I do the entire budget presentation, including capital outlay.
As part of the council meeting?
Right,
So you said July 29th.
right.
Okay.
Okay. I would mention that there are a number of items, line items in this that reflect both our personal and our institutional guarantees as much as we can give guarantees to some of the entities here where we have committed ourselves, as I say, individually, as an institution, to making ongoing contributions that are really being counted on. And I appreciate the fact that the council has come through with that this year, and I presume that it will keep going, because those places are counting on that money. Some of them have already spent it. So, next item on the agenda is the reappointment of Troy McQuillan to the Library Board.
Mayor, if I could, we do need to vote on the underlying motion.
You're right. All those in favor then of the motion to accept the chart, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Would entertain a motion then to reappoint Troy McQuillan to the Library Board.
Move approval.
Motion, Ruck, second by Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And also, I would entertain a motion to reappoint Peter Ramey to the Library Board.
Second.
Motion Slade Hansen, second by Ronayne. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item K, Robin, change order for accessible quadrant improvements.
Well, we're on pay estimate number 2 and change order number 2 for the accessible quadrant project. This change order of $46,275 is a result of us just working toward the budgeted amount. It really isn't a change in anything we did, but our contract we set up was for less than the budgeted amount. We always want to maximize, in this particular case, the amount of work we complete because there's so much to do in this area. The pay estimate is for $75,690, and this reflects completion of 24 quadrants at this time, and we hope to get 35 to 40 done before the end of the year.
Second.
Motion Olson, second by Ronayne. The change order and the change results in a subsequent payment to $46,275 and also $75,692 Wright and Sudlow. Questions on this? Jordan, roll call, please.
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Item L is yours also, Robin. Maintenance concrete repair.
This is to CWF Masonry. They've been doing our curb and gutter repairs that's within our patching and seal coating area. They have submitted a request for $45,738, and they are moving forward. This was a tough spring to be a concrete contractor. It's been a late start for things. Our objective was to try to get things pretty well completed by the 4th of July for this. They will be slightly after that when they complete it, but they are making good progress, so we recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Bunceness. Questions? Jordan?
Councilmember Rux.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Item M is bills submitted for approval tonight. The council has received a list of those, and I would entertain a motion to pay them.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Slade Hansen, second by Lunsman. Questions on any of them? Jordan?
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Item N is payroll for June 19 to June 22, and City Sheriff, Social Security, Old Age, and Survivors Insurance, Retirement, Health, and Life.
Move approval.
Motion Ruck, second by Olson. Jordan?
Councilmember Rux.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Slide Hansen.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Lynn, before I have you do report, there was a budget item that I was going to mention when we were talking about the promotion fund. It's not for something in the promotion fund, and I maybe should have done it while Liesl was still here. We have been, had a group of people meeting in Aberdeen over the last 6 or 7 months to try to structure a way to deal with short-term homeless in Aberdeen that is not so unstructured as it is now. Right now, if a person gets in trouble with a landlord or for whatever reason is homeless for a short time and unexpectedly, they might call the Salvation Army, they might call the Presentation Sisters, they might call Safe Harbor or the Journey Home. And there is really no structural thing set up to handle that. So those groups, along with a number of other groups, mental health people, we've had some meetings over the last 6 or 7 months with the idea of setting up an established structure that so that people would be directed toward one place where it would handle it, and that would be the Journey Home. And the Journey Home would marshal the resources of the other entities to do this. Most of them religious-related entities. And in discussing with them, I said that I would ask for some money for them. And in order to do that, I did not think it would be proper for the council to allocate general fund money directly to a religious organization, although that's kind of been done tangentially. So I asked them if they would try to work towards setting up some kind of a receptacle to receive funds from the city and then use those funds to pay for what they're doing. It costs them about $100 a night to have Journey Home open. They have to have somebody there supervising. So what I would request, and I would just leave it for you to either discuss or not when you get to budget times. I told them that I would request that the city allocates some money in the general fund to set up under the conditions that this homeless coalition finds a way to establish an entity to properly receive those funds and use them. And if they can do that by the end of the year, if we can conditionally put some money in the budget that's there, when it gets around to the first of the year, fine. If not, fine, they're still on their own, raising their money that way. And if they can do it, fine. If not, fine. And so where's the money coming from?
What kind of dollar amount are you speaking about?
Well, I would leave that up to the council. Obviously, $10,000 would provide for 100 nights. 20,000 would provide for 200 nights. Maybe if you do get to the point of talking about it, check with the people at the Journey Home and see how many nights they might need. I believe this to be a legitimate function of government. Sioux Falls has public money that goes toward helping short-term homeless. Rapid City does. Other cities do. We don't. I think we should. I think it's an obligation that we should have. Again, where does the money come from? I don't think it properly would come out of the promotion fund. I think this should come out of Carl's unallocated reserves. We've got a few $1 million in there. If we can take
He owns those reserves.
Carl and I have had many discussions about those reserves over 15 years, and if we can find some money out of there, fine. If it's not justified, that's fine. But I did tell the people that I'd been meeting with that I would request that, and it's my last chance to do it, so I'll do it now. So, city manager report, Lynn.
Okay, your timing was appropriate because we just started budget discussions this morning. And I plan on having meetings with all the department heads throughout the week.
See if you can find some loose change.
We're only $1 million off right now, but we'll see how it goes. Are there any questions about the city manager's report? I had various different items. If not, I want to move on to a couple of items that I would highlight this evening. One is we did some upgrades within our video and audio, and we are now live on TV, our city council meetings. Not that we ever edited the previous versions, but you can't anymore.
We didn't need any editing.
On Midco, it's channel 9 and 589, and NVC, it's channel 7. In addition to that, I want to make announcement that, and I know you're familiar with, but we've made arrangements at the Public Library this Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. for Councilor Slade Hansen and Mayor Leifson for a farewell thank you gathering, and the public's invited. And before closing my report, I would like to thank each of you for your leadership and commitment to the city during the time that I've worked with you. Thank you very much.
Jennifer, you said you wanted to comment.
Well, yes, thank you so much. In follow-up a little bit to what Mike said, there's one program that we've talked about for the time that I've been on the council, and that's our rental housing inspection program. And I know we talked about it a little bit last year. You guys have done some research on it, and I just wanted to mention it one more time because it's kind of the last thing that was on my list 10 years ago when I started. I hope that, excuse me, I hope that this council, next year's council, will consider going forward with that, continue to look at that program. As Mike said, the homeless problem in our community is growing. I think that the rental housing problem, some of the lower end rental housing continues to be a problem in our community, and I think that we need to take the lead on that and make sure that we aren't allowing people to live in substandard housing. So I wanted to, bring that up one last time, and then I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thanks. Thanks to all of you. I'll leave it at that.
Anything else before we adjourn?
I have a couple comments. As the probably one of the oldest members of the council, I just would like
Longest,
to
not oldest.
thank you for that clarification. Thank both of you for your patience with me and when we've had disagreements. And we've had a lot of issues that we faced together, and I think we need to thank you for your service. I mean, it looks easy, but it's not, and it takes time. And I think you've done your positions well. So thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
I want to say thank you to Jennifer and Mike. You're the one that got me into this long
Mess.
time ago. Can't say it. And I just want to reiterate the fact that this is a bipartisan city council. And we may disagree on certain things, but we work things out and we come to a decent conclusion in the right thing. So I just want to point out that this is a city council that works together, always has, and I want to keep it that way. So I've got 3 years left, so we'll make sure it happens.
Thanks, Mark. 780 meetings, and there's never been 1 minute of it that was out of control. So.
Someone who's like Dave, been here for a while. We've seen a lot of changes and seen people come and go, and it's kind of depressing in a way, I guess you can say, but at the same point, it is kind of different. One thing I've always been grateful for is that this council has never held grudges. We have never not spoken to each other, and we've always, at the end of the day, could sit around, joke with each other, have some fun, and be probably, I think, one of the best councils in the state if you sit there and read the newspapers and watch what other people are doing. We don't have a lot of fights, even though we may have disagreements. And that's always been a positive thing. So thank you for both of you for your time. This is not an easy job. It takes time. And it is one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of time that goes into this. So thank you for your service, and whatever you do in the future, good luck.
Are we ready to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Bunsen. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.